Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a masterpiece, a complete masterpiece. And it's crazy saying that because usually animes based on movies or video games, they don't do too well or aren't well received. And when I first heard about this anime, I immediately wrote it off. I thought it was gonna be garbage, but no, it's the complete opposite. It's anime of the year, so far. And I say so far because we still have Chainsaw Man, Mob Psycho, Bleach coming out next month. So for now at least, at this very moment, Cyberpunk Edgerunners is the anime of the year. I didn't play the video game. I wanted to, just like everyone else, but then the game launched and I mean, we all know how that turned out.
Is this game worth it? Does that answer your question?
But CD Projekt Red and Studio Trigger, they just teamed up and made a masterpiece of an anime. And it's crazy how good they made it. It was only 10 episodes, but it was nearly perfect. The anime tells a very simple story. It's about a kid named David who's a seemingly normal teenager, but we follow him as he goes through this very quick and fast descent into the criminal underground world, his descent into madness, losing his mind, and becoming a monster. It's very simple, but again, the anime was nearly perfect. The colors, the lighting, the music. I think this anime might have the best OST this year. Again, so far, because the music in this anime was amazing. The opening song, the ending song, and just the OST in general. Every piece of music was a banger. My favorite scene in the anime was episode 2 when David and Lucy are on the moon through this like computer program. I don't know what it was, whatever technology they have in 2077, but they're on the moon and they're just having fun, strolling around the moon, jumping, laughing. But the song that's in the background that's playing, it was beautiful. The entire scene was beautiful. I was just amazed how good it was. Everything about the scene, the music, the environment, the visuals in the scene, it was breathtaking. And just talking about it right now, I feel like crying. That's how good the scene was. And that particular song, every time that song came on, I felt like crying. The song was so good, I felt like crying. And if you didn't cry or feel like crying when the song came on, especially in the final episode when the song was playing, if you didn't feel like crying, then you're ugly. And you know you are. But yeah, just the music throughout the entire anime, it was amazing. The animation. And I don't want to sound like I'm getting like too ahead of myself, but besides Demon Slayer that obviously had the best animation this year, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, it's up there in terms of animation for this year. Everything flowed so well, especially in the action scenes with the quick editing. Again, I can't stress enough, everything was nearly perfect. Nearly perfect. JoJo references. We even get a JoJo Stand Rush. This anime has some of the most beautiful shots of this year. Like every frame, every shot, you can tell just how much hard work Studio Trigger and the animators put in. The lighting, the color schemes, you see the care they put into it. This anime was just pretty to look at. It was just beautiful. The feel of the world and the environments, it felt right. It felt like you were there in the world. And one of the ways they did this is through the immersion of the conversations. They had this like very smart idea where throughout the anime, characters would be having conversations, but instead of seeing them talk or moving their mouths or seeing the subtitles in the bottom, they would put on like this HUD, like when they would be talking through the cybernetic, I don't know what technology it was, but you would see the conversations through this HUD and it would just be back and forth, and it was throughout the anime, and it just felt so real. It was so immersive. Again, you felt like you were there. It captured the feeling of the technology and how conversations would look or feel or sound like. Or even at one point, David is having a conversation with the guy, but the guy is making out while talking with David. And it's stuff like that that engages you in the world. Again, the immersion, it's phenomenal. Giga made a tweet, and he talked about episode 6 and called it a masterpiece of anime, and I agree with him. Episode 6 is one of those episodes where it's not after you're done watching it, but while watching it, you're like, damn, I really am sitting down watching one of the best episodes in anime history. Watching episode 6 was like watching Hero from Attack on Titan. It felt like watching episode 19 of Demon Slayer. It felt like episode 25 of Death Note. And more recently, it felt like episode 22 of 86. Episode 6 of Cyberpunk Edgerunners is up there as one of the greatest episodes in anime history. Everything about this episode was perfect. The gore, the action, the shots, and most importantly, this episode highlighted one of the biggest strengths of this anime, which is the visual storytelling. The visual storytelling in this anime is phenomenal. They had this one concept in this universe called cyberpsychosis, and basically it's a condition that affects a person when they become more machine than human. And the thing is, they don't explain cyberpsychosis or what it does to the person affected. Instead, in episode 6, they showed us without telling us, and it was extremely effective and also really terrifying because the person affected, they're not seeing what's going on in the real world in front of them. Instead, the real world is being compromised by hallucinations, visuals from their past. And yeah, the way they showed it was brilliant. Just seeing it work, seeing it happen, seeing its effects, that alone was effective enough. Because at that point, you see the person has truly lost their mind. They're literally not even there anymore. And we also see this in the last episode, when we have this one moment where David and the crew are being pursued. But we have this scene intercut with moments with David, back when he was normal, before all this, before he became a cyberpunk, before being introduced to the criminal underground world. And you really do see the vast differences between David then and David now. Where back then he was a seemingly normal kid, to now where he's unrecognizable. He's literally not even human anymore. He's a monster. This scene gave me major callbacks to that amazing scene in the final episode of Death Note, when Light is running away, and it's intercut with moments in his past when he was just a normal teenager, before the Death Note, before he became a mass murderer, before he became a monster. As these two different versions, these two different lights, they pass by each other. And in Cyberpunk, this moment isn't as explicit as the scene in Death Note, nor is it telegraphed in that way, but it doesn't have to be, because the visuals alone give off what they're trying to say. In those moments with David walking around the city alone, it's so quiet that it's almost tranquil, but that's juxtaposed when we go back to reality, where David is literally losing his mind. And stuff like that make this anime much more realistic. It feels like there's actual consequences to actions. It feels like there's gravity to what's going on. Again, this anime is only 10 episodes, so there has to be something going on. There has to be weight to it. And this anime does a good job of setting all that up. And it's why after finishing it, that the anime stays in your head. And that's because the anime is so quick, so concise, so simple, in a good way, and there's no holds barred. The anime doesn't hold back. And again, it's just effective. If I did have one criticism of the anime, and it is the biggest main problem of the anime, and I'm pretty sure we would all agree, and that's that the plot, it's, I don't want to say non-existent, but the plot just isn't really there. And that's because in 10 episodes, the anime does so much. It does so much. Again, like I said, this anime has a lot of setup. David's character arc is, as I said in the beginning, really quick, really fast. And all of that works, except that the plot is the one thing that they left behind in the background. Honestly, it feels like this anime just needed 20 more minutes. Just literally one more episode to like set up the whole corporate aspect of the anime, the corporate aspect of the world, just the whole corporation stuff after episode 6. If they just had one more episode explaining that, setting that up, and maybe giving us more time with David's character also, instead of having this very rapid descent into being the person that he becomes. Because it did feel like there was quite a jump from the story, from the world, and one more episode, 20 more minutes would have made it better. But other than that, that was really the only big problem of the anime. Again, the anime was nearly perfect. And on a side note, before I end the video, one more thing, and you guys tell me because I haven't seen anybody talking about this, but I was getting major Blem vibes from this anime. I don't know what it was, but throughout the entire anime, it was just screaming Blem, Blem, Blem. Especially in moments when Lucy would go diving into the net sphere or whatever it's called. Like that was just Blem, like straight Blem. Like certain character designs, it also felt like Blem. Like in the final episode, what was it called? Atom Smasher? I don't know, but it was just Blem. And watching it, I was just thinking, wouldn't it be so cool if we had a well-made Blem anime? That would be dope. Hopefully, one day. But speaking of hopefully having a good anime adaptation, another side note, but while also watching this anime, I was like, damn, Studio Trigger, they need to make a Gantz anime. In my first Gantz video, I said that in my dream world, where I get to pick the studio that makes a very well-made Gantz anime, it would be either A1 Pictures, Wit, Bones, or Madhouse. But after watching this anime, Studio Trigger, they're up there. They know how to do gore. Studio Trigger, they're up there. Hopefully, one day, it's just a dream, but I pray that soon enough, we get a well-made Gantz anime. The world needs it. But anyways, those are my thoughts on Cyberpunk Edgerunners. A masterpiece. An anime to me, or not even anime, but a story. Any story, TV, anime, books, movies. It doesn't have to be perfect. To me, masterpiece is a combination of how great it is from a character standpoint, story standpoint, and everything around it. The mechanics of the story, but also the experience has to be amazing. And to me, this anime was both great mechanically and the experience was amazing. It was a blast. And that's why to me, it's a masterpiece and why I feel it's anime of the year so far. Alright everybody, did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Do you think it's anime of the year? What are your thoughts? But yeah guys, thank you for watching the video, and if you did enjoy it, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it and it would help me out a lot. And yeah guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.